Not to get on the soapbox here, but if there were to be a flood again of emails that went out on this issue over the next week or so, that is going to gain the attention of people there, and which, by extension will garner attention on the issue. Welcome back to Landline Now. If you've listened to the show at all, you've heard us mention the fightingfortruckers.com website a number of times, and it's worth mentioning that there is a new update to the website that makes it easier than ever to reach out to your lawmakers and make a difference in Washington, D.C. Joining us now to talk about the new website is Jay Grimes of OOIDA's Washington, D.C. office. Jay, good to see you.
Great to be back.
So we have a new shiny thing to talk about here, but before that, I'm hoping everyone listening has already visited the fightingfortruckers.com website multiple times and used it already to reach out to lawmakers. But assuming there are folks out there who have not done that, who haven't visited this website, tell us a little bit about what it is designed to do.
Yeah, fightingfortruckers.com is really designed to make it simple, quick, fast for drivers on the road to contact their lawmakers through the different call to actions and campaigns that we've posted on the website. And really that's going to be showing off the critical issues and legislation that we're either supporting, opposing, but want to get the word out, want to make sure lawmakers know where small business truckers stand on important trucking legislation that's been introduced.
And we've kind of explained this or described this website as a one-stop shop for doing just that, right? For reaching out to lawmakers and letting them know why these issues are so important to truck drivers and kind of where they should be leaning in terms of legislation. That is really the idea here, right? It really is the idea of coming to this website. There's a few clicks, and you can literally just kind of use a form letter to explain to them what's going on with speed limiters or whatever it may be.
Yeah, right. If you're an OIDA member, if you've signed up to receive our call to actions on fightingfortruckers.com, you just got to, enter in your personal contact information, which is really just your name and address, and it'll send a letter automatically to your lawmakers. You don't have to necessarily go out of your way to look up your lawmakers. It'll send the message to them. And the great thing about it is we try and make it easier by putting together messages, but anyone can edit the message to make it to say what they want to say. And this has been a feature we've had in place for the last few years and have really, I think, gotten great feedback, great participation, because it is really simple and quick. But this week we've launched the new fightingfortruckers.com website, and it's got a really great look to it, just as easy as before. But in addition to contacting your lawmakers, we're also going to have a whole lot more information on the specific issues. So if you're on the phone with a congressional staffer or a lawmaker, if you're out meeting with these lawmakers, you can have the latest data, the latest information, talking points to make your voice heard. And right now we're focusing on speed limiters, so stopping that mandate, improving truck parking with the Truck Parking Safety Improvement Act, restroom access, fighting back against broker fraud, and real simple stuff to go on and take a look at. And hopefully the new website is a little more fun to look around on, and we've really got some great information on there.
We've talked about this before as well, but I think it's worth repeating because I know you hear some of the resistance out there when you make that plea for people to reach out and call their lawmaker or email their lawmaker, whatever it may be. The idea that what difference does it make? I'm just one person. They don't really want to hear from me. They don't care. The counter to that is it really does make a difference, especially when you have a number of people reaching out on one particular issue. Can you speak to that a little bit? Because you've been in these offices before. Yep. What happens when there is a flood of emails or calls about one particular issue, perhaps speed limiters? What happens in that congressional office that might help move the cause forward?
I've been at OOIDA for almost 10 years, and I think our greatest strength is in our numbers and in our unity. And we've got 150,000 members out there, and at least a few in every congressional district, and that really helps making the case to those offices. And when they hear from drivers out on the road, it really makes a difference to those folks in Washington, because frankly and unfortunately, not a whole lot of elected officials know too much about the trucking industry. But when they hear from a driver who's been out on the road, maybe has experience with a speed limiter, or has seen other drivers react in a terrible way when they get stuck behind trucks who are speed limited out on the road, they can start to make a little bit of a connection, and the light goes off with that lawmaker, with their staffer. And then when they get a few dozen phone calls about the issue, or hundreds and hundreds of letters asking them to support or oppose legislation, those numbers add up, and really helps us make the point across, and really, give lawmakers a better understanding of what the trucking issues are all about.
And again, the fightingfortruckers.com website, the beauty of this website is that you can pop your name in there, you can pop your email address in there, you pop your zip code in, and it will essentially, put together
That's right.
the lawmakers that are in your district, or the ones that represent you, right?
Yeah,
and you can reach out to them directly.
It'll automatically send that lawmaker a letter. It'll provide the phone number if you want to call that office. Really makes it simple, where if you've only got 30 seconds, you can get on there, fightingfortruckers.com, support the DRIVE Act, per se, H.R. 3039, to prevent speed limiters, and that'll send the letter. If you've got a little bit more time, you can write your own message, share your own personal experiences there. So if you're on the go, it's easy. If you want to take a little more time, look at all the information we have on the speed limiter issue, look at all the resources we've linked to with the new website. It can be really helpful, and it really does make a difference when lawmakers, when congressional staff hear from the men and women of the trucking industry who have the day-to-day experience of being on the road.
And I think we should mention, too, that OIDA did put out a call to action, I think late last month, I think late February, to approximately 150,000 members, urging them to reach out to lawmakers on the speed limiter bills in particular, right? We've got one in the House, we've got one in the Senate, and I don't think it's a coincidence that we have seen more co-sponsors sign on in recent weeks after that as well. So again, not to get on the soapbox here, but if there were to be a flood again of emails that went out on this issue over the next week or so, that is going to gain the attention of people there, and which, by extension will garner attention on the issue.
Yeah, not only do we see those co-sponsor figures go up usually every time we send a call to action, but we're getting feedback from the congressional staff that we have relationships once they, hear from dozens, hundreds of truckers on a specific issue. And if you're not getting our call to actions, it's critical to go to fightingfortruckers.com, sign up for those, just enter your email, and you can get an alert every time we see a bill or a regulation being proposed where we think it's going to be very important for lawmakers or folks at FMCSA and DOT to hear from OIDA members.
Speed limiters, the speed limiter mandate, I should say, truck parking, Fair Labor Standards Act, overtime exemption, just a few of the issues that are going around right now that you're asking for people to reach out to. It seems like speed limiters kind of takes the priority right now, but other issues that you think might be important to reach out? Yeah,
restroom access, always a good one, broker fraud. And, right now on the fightingfortruckers.com homepage, we've got our 3 call to actions that we've prioritized that you can make your voices heard. You can also go to our trucking policy page right up at the top, and you can see all the active call to actions that we're working on. So sign up if you're not. Visit fightingfortruckers.com. Make your voice heard. Have an impact. We know there's a lot to fix in the trucking industry, and we've got to make a difference.
Jay, we appreciate your time. We encourage everybody to check out the website and be a part of the process here. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
That was Jay Grimes, OIDA Director of Federal Affairs. And in case you didn't catch that website, one of the 24 times we mentioned it there, it's fightingfortruckers.com. You don't need an account or username or really anything else, I don't believe, other than your name and your voice. We've got more Landline Now right after this short commercial break.